Jujubes, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing today? Shut my door, Kennedy. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. Hump day. I was dragging today, but I am here. Y'all, excuse I can't make them stay, but I got some hot met cheese Coneys here and some chili cheese fries. That's what I'm eating today. So if you guys are new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Today is going to be the first day of my book review. I got on my book lover shirt because I'm a book lover. I got this from my book club, my Ashley and Jaquavis book club on Facebook. So I am definitely, I got my journal in the background. I'm here for it, okay? So this is the book that we're going to start with. Ethics series is my favorite book. I have probably reread the Ethics series maybe like 4 or 5 times at this point. So this is where it all started, and this book is Moth to a Flame. And I think this book is about 10 years old, guys. I'm not even I think it really is about, because see, this says the 10th anniversary edition. So this book is it came out in 2010. So it's a little older than 10 books. But this is where it all started at. So I'm going to probably spend the next 2 or 3 videos trying to break down this book as best as I can, give you a synopsis. So if you haven't read it, you can go read it. But this is the book that I'm going to review right now. But I'm going to take a couple bites of my food first before I get started. How are you guys doing today? I've been slow this week, okay? Got my little Sprite. I have been moving slow. I'm going to put a little bit. This is not 2 times spicy. This is 1 time spicy because 2 times would be too much for me. Pour a little bit over my fries, though. I've been kind of sluggish this week. I was on vacation and I'm trying to catch up from the week. So I just got a Queen City hot met cheese Coney. Old school on the bread because the buns be too much bread for me. So maybe I can stop and eat. What you guys think? These are rally fries too. They're so good. Of course, I got onions on here. Because, well, it's a chili cheese fry without onion. So, okay, so this book is called Moth to a Flame. It takes place in Flint, Michigan, which a lot of the books by Ashley and Jaquavis usually do. They may travel up to like Detroit or something like that, but for the most part, the books are in Flint, Michigan. So the characters in this book are Benjamin Atkins, Justine Atkins. They're the husband and wife. Then there's Raven, which is the oldest daughter, and then you have Morgan, which is the baby daughter. You also have Mazan, who is winds up being Raven's boyfriend. Those are like the main characters in the book. So it takes place in Flint, Michigan. I think it's probably a couple of weeks or something before Raven turns 18. Okay. Her dad is a man from the streets, without going into detail. And he's been like that pretty much her whole Raven's whole life. So she was more, Raven is what you would call a girl who has it all, financially. Her daddy makes sure she has the best of everything. But she has this overwhelming urge to run the streets, okay? She want to be out there so bad, but her dad wants her to not be out there so bad because he knows exactly what happens, okay? But Raven has this, it's like the streets be calling her. That's the best I can put it. And so she want to be grown. She want to go out. She want to experience life, or at least what she thinks is life. But what Raven fails to realize is that she's kind of naive to what the streets really consist of. She's only really seen so far in the beginning of the book. She's only really seen the glamorous of it, I would say, as far as her daddy and the money and the finer things in life. She hasn't really had to scuffle for nothing. She hasn't had to, like, go without anything because her daddy made sure that she had it all. So she basically went out with her friends to a club, I think it was. She basically was sneaking out. And she had to go back. I can't. Look, I read this book twice, and I have some details are off. But she went out with her friends and lied and told him that she was 21, and she was not. And that's when she meets Mazan. So she meets Mazan right at the beginning of the book. And for those of you who don't know, he's the villain in this book. But she meets Mazan and tells him that she's 21 when she's really only 17. And he asked her, like, does she want to go home with him? And she thinking like, okay, fine, I already extended the gesture, got in the car with him, and so I'm gonna just go ahead and go. Well, when she gets outside and get in the car, they start shooting. So she hurry up and get in the car with him, and he like, well, just come with me. I'll make sure that you get back to your friend. So she was hesitant a little bit, but then she was like, okay, cool. So she went with him. After this, she smoked. She didn't want to seem like she was lame. So she said, yeah, I do. Not paying attention, not knowing what's going on, or being naive. He laced her stuff with a white powdery substance. That's what we're going to say. Because for YouTube purposes, I don't know if I can say what it is, but you guys get what I'm saying. And her being, like I said, green, naive, she don't know. Like, she doesn't know to be like, yeah, I will, but not like that. She just want to go along with it because she want to feel like she cool, or she want to feel, like she wants him to like her or whatever. So she's sitting in the car with him. She talking. All of a sudden, her friend called her like, yo, daddy has been blowing up my cell phone. Like, you need to get home. So she tell him like, I gotta go. And her sister called and said, where you been? I've been blowing up. Your dad called my house and my mama told him that you weren't there. She said, thanks, girl. And so she's like, how am I supposed to get home? Now, imagine she done told him that she's 21 years old. So if you're 21, why do you have to go home? So he told her, like, I can take you home or I can follow you there. So I think he wound up following her to the house. To make sure that she got home safely. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And he telling her like, well, I'm not gonna let you go home by yourself. I need to make sure that you get there, I need to make sure that you get there safely. Like, I'm not gonna have you driving all the way across the town. I'm not gonna take you to get your car and then have you driving all the way across town to get your car. So she tell him like, you gotta go now. He wound up pulling up to her house and found out that she's Benny Atkins's daughter. So that's the first thing he asked her, like, Benny Atkins is your pops? And she like, um, yeah, or whatever. And so that's the first rule of thumb. You're not supposed to bring an outsider or somebody that you don't know to the place where your family rests their head at. And Raven being, I mean, she was trying to be smart, but at the same time, she was trying to, let the situation play itself out because she liked him. But when she pulled up to the house and her daddy heard him outside, he came outside and he like, no disrespect. Mazana's like, no disrespect, I was just trying to make sure she made it home safe. And he like, you know, at 4 in the morning, get on up over here or whatever. So she go in the house, telling that he's just a friend. And her mom came outside, like, nice to read you. Nice to meet you, Mazan. But Raven is only 17 years old and she has a curfew. And then Mazan like, oh, I didn't know, that she had a curfew. I didn't know she was 21. I didn't know she was 17. And he said, no doubt. He said, I know. I didn't know she had a curfew, but the next time we kick it, I'll make sure I have her home on time. Good night. So she leave. He leave. She go in the house. Her mom trying to give her like some words of advice. Basically tell her like, you got a long life to live. You don't have to rush to do or be something that you're not, or too soon, or whatever the case may be. Her dad is like, no, 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 you're not seeing him no more. We're not doing it. So I think maybe a couple of days later, not a couple of days later, but it might have been the next day. He might have met her at school, and um, he might have met her at school. Okay, so it wasn't Raven's birthday yet, but it was Morgan's birthday. So the next day, um, everybody came out for Morgan's birthday. Now Morgan at this time, I think she probably wasn't turning no older than about maybe like 6 or 7 at the time. But Morgan is deaf, and so that everybody came out for her birthday party. All of the people who worked for Benny, they all came out. Hustlers or whatnot, people who were working for him, people who were with him, people who, just good, the people who was affiliated in the community. So I think Mazan might have showed up to the birthday party, and uh Mazan showed up to the birthday party as well. But Benjamin wound up introducing Raven to Ethic. Now, at this time, Ethic works for, well, Benjamin tells Raven, or Benny tells Raven that Ethic, he works for her. And so he asked her to go on like a store run, and then Raven winds up going for her. So, of course, Raven is instantly attracted to Ethic because he young, he older than her, but he's suave, he got manners, he's gorgeous and the best, fine, black, tall, handsome, he all of those things. He got money. He got money because he worked for her daddy. So but Raven is young, like she's very young in age, and she's also young mentally, like she's immature or whatever. So long story short, I know if I keep going page by page, I'm gonna be doing this for a couple of days. So long story short, she wound up going to the store with Ethic, and then kind of like letting him know that she liked him, but at the same time, he like, I'm not crossing no lines with Benny because I work for him, and you are too immature to handle the type of man that I am. He basically said that to her in the nicest way possible. So she kind of felt some type of way, like she wasn't mature enough for him, which she really wasn't. So then she goes back to the birthday party, and Mazan shows up. He winds up telling his friends to basically rob the place, and they will, he was going to let them in through the back door. So he robs them, he sets up the robbery or whatever, but it goes bad because Ethic notices, like, the mannerisms of Mazan, and he notices like something is off, and he's trying to tell Benny like, I really don't trust the situation or whatever. So they wind up not being able to get away with the robbery. They wind up getting rid of the people who tried to rob them. If get rid of, y'all know what I'm saying. So Ethic basically saved their whole life because they had Justine and um the girls at held hostage basically in the living room. And so Ethic went around to the front, they didn't see him coming, and he kind of, did some exterminating of those people. Um, so of course Mazan tried to make it seem like he didn't have nothing to do with it. He tried to hurry up and get away, and they was trying to find out who the third person was involved. And Ethic had wound up telling Raven like, you might want to watch the company that you keep because it's something off about dude. So Mazan wound up pushing hard on Raven. I mean, meeting her at the school, having her skip school. Imagine she was still had her innocence. She has not crossed over into the grown womanhood of things, if you know what I'm saying. So she still had her innocence. So he kind of like, persuade that from her as well. And once he took that from her, then he just kind of like had her wrapped around his finger to the point where she went against her own family. Her dad told her like, you cannot date him, and she was like, well, I'm grown now, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm gonna date. And if I can't stay here and do it, then I'll just leave and go with him. So she leaves, and basically Mazana's got her exactly where he wanted, to where she's dependent on him and getting her to turn against her family, basically. So she was sad, like, well, I hope that he takes me in, because here I am, getting rid of my life, and I don't even know if he really like me like he say he do. I mean, he been, you know, I've been skipping school to see him, and I've been, spending a lot of time with him, and he been giving me a little of this, but it's not nothing major. So he basically convinced Raven to set up her own daddy to be robbed. Okay, now mind you, her daddy got buku money, and she was, I think she was pregnant at the time, and I don't know if um, I think she lost, she had to lose that baby, and but he wound up convincing her. He set it up to like this, like she was over his house one day with her friend. Him and one of his friends made it like they were trying to rob him. Like some guys was looking for him for some money that he owed them. Imagine the whole time it's him. So he basically, scare her half to death. They wind up shooting her friend. It just, he is a villain. So he wound up convincing her like he needed to get enough money to pay the people who came to the house to try to get them. Mind you, it's him and his friend. Ain't nobody after him. He just knew that he could manipulate her to do this. So he manipulated her enough to where she agreed to give him the information to like her daddy's safe, so that they could set her daddy up and rob her daddy. The plan was to just rob him, but he told her like, tell your daddy that you want to meet up, get him away from the house, and I'll take care of the rest. And she's like, you sure? So she met up with her daddy, because imagine her and her daddy had been fighting, about her not living there, her trying to be grown, and her trying to decide what it is that she want to do with her life, and she don't want to live with him. She want to be a grown up, but she wound up calling him, telling him, she wanted to talk. She was ready to apologize, because when she had left, he had took her car, cut her off financially. So she basically was only dependent on Mazan because he was the only one she had, and she didn't finish school because she just was so wrapped up in this guy. Like I said, she was young and naive. So he wound up getting her, like I said, convincing her to set her daddy up. So she called her daddy, tell her daddy that she want him to meet up. They go to dinner, they go to lunch or whatever. When they come back home, the police was swarming the house, and she thinking like, I thought you just said this was gonna be in and out. So they wound up pressing no alarm. Mazan wound up taking everything out of the safe, leaving one brick left in the safe. And alarm, set the alarm so that he was just thinking like I can get Benny completely out the way. I could take his money, I could take over the city, and then I could, have Raven as my girl. Even though he was trying to say he didn't like her at first, she was just a scheme to get at Benny. So Benny comes outside. The police pull up. They're like, "Put your hands up." Next thing you know, everything go left. The police shoot Benny. Benny dies. So not only did she play a role in setting up her daddy, but now she's played a role in killing her daddy, being killed by the police. So it's just her left, Justine, which is her mom, and Morgan at this point. And now with no money because they've been robbed and they don't have any access to anything else. Everything just kind of happened so fast after that. So she's crying. She's calling him, telling him it went bad. My dad is dead. And he was like, "Oh, well, that really wasn't my plan, but, that's fine too." And after this trail of events, he turns into like the devil himself. I'm not even kidding. So I'm gonna stop right here because I don't want you guys to miss anything. But as far as we know now, Benny Atkins has been shot. He dies. Raven is left to figure out life, with Mazan. Justine is left to figure out how to be his mom with no money, no access or anything. So they're just kind of like stuck in between a rock and a hard place. So meet me back here tomorrow if you want to finish this story time. I'm going to try to condense it some more because I feel like I'm giving too many details. But this is just my rough draft. So come back tomorrow again. We will continue to discuss Moth to a Flame by my favorite author. So please don't forget, if you are new here, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It would do my heart proud. Share this video. Thank you, Juju Bees. I'll see you tomorrow.